Welcome to the Institute of Jewish Knowledge and Learning. We are with Rabbi Akiva Mann. The program is Preparation for the High Holy Days, Rosh Hashanah. Take it away, Rabbi.
Thank you, Kim. Good morning, everybody. I heard, just let me adjust something here. Okay. Okay, we might surprise ourselves by even thinking that today's class for the next 4 weeks is a sort of preparatory lecture series for the Yamim Noraim, for the days of awe. I heard Kim schmoozing with you guys before about the importance of preparation. The Talmud has a beautiful expression, regarding the vital importance of preparatory stages before we enter into an occasion, and how we often don't take the stage of consciousness. We are under the false impression that we can on a dime just dive into the deep end without acclimatizing our bodies to the water, and the Talmud cautions us in this beautiful adage, Mishalai Torach be'erev Shabbos ma yoichal b'Shabbos. If someone does not prepare before Shabbos for their Shabbos, if someone does not do any preparations before Shabbos, ma yoichal b'Shabbos, what do they expect to eat over Shabbos? In a timely fashion, we can put that, if you do not prepare for the Olympics, what do you expect to win in the Olympics? How do you expect to win? You can't just enter into it and hope for the best high holiday experience, if there has not been a personal investment initiated beforehand. So just like we have another Talmudic expression, Shloshim Yom Kodem HaChag, 30 days before any holiday, we start preparing and start reviewing what the essential aspects of that is, in order to make the experience of the holiday, when it does come, a most meaningful one. and I guess that is true in all life's experiences. It's what we put in to it beforehand that is going to yield the rewards of that time. So fortunately, we have done that. We have the opportunity to do that. And good. Okay, so we're going to do it. So this is like a large project that I didn't exactly know where to start and what to do. So we'll just go with it. We'll go with it. We'll see how it unfolds. Okay. Kim, can you put up the first? I'm going to try to do this through some liturgical stuff, as using some liturgy as a springboard. But our first attempt here is going to be more of an umbrella view of the days of awe, the high holy days in general, and then we're going to get into a little specifics. Friends, in traditional Jewish liturgy, this is for Rosh Hashanah. The sages, there are many aspects to the idea behind Rosh Hashanah, which we are going to be addressing. But the sages put in one form the essence of the flavor behind Rosh Hashanah can be encapsulated in three specific ways. And the first way, we are not going to dissect these today. I hope to do that next week to a certain extent. But I just want us to have these three symbolic words that really create the essence of the Rosh Hashanah consciousness that the sages summarized in these three words. And the first one is Malchuyot, from the root word of what?
King.
From the
King
root
or earth.
Melech.
From the root word of melech, and Malchuyot, the last sphera of the tree of life, of course, is called Malchut. So this is a combination of melech and Malchut, and Malchuyot means kingship or sovereignty. That on Rosh Hashanah we are in the deepest way, but in the most simplistic way, we are addressing the sovereignty of divinity. And again, the sovereignty is metaphoric language. The kingship of divinity means really in the most practical and simplistic manner. The kingship of divinity is talking about the all-pervasive presence of divinity in everything. It really is pointing towards Shiviti. Zichronot, from the word, you know, zichronot.
Remember, zichron.
Good. Zechira or zecher is zichronot is just the plural of zecher is a remembrance. Zichronot is just the plural form referring to remembrances. That on the day of Rosh Hashanah is the day in which we time travel to a certain extent. Most people think we time travel. We time travel to from this point, from this new year to last year, and we kind of review the entire year, but not really. Zichronot in the sages' mind is we go back in remembrances throughout all of history. We time travel throughout all of history, and we see ourselves at this particular moment in the new year with the we see ourselves standing in the midst of history. And in order to stand in the midst of history and view ourselves, how we fit in, how we have contributed to in our small and large ways to the flow of history, we have to go back to the history and our history with divinity and our history with our people, and we have to find and discover or rediscover our place in history. And then Shofrote. Shofrote is referring to, of course, the shofar. But then we have to ask ourselves, what is the shofar? I can understand Malchiot. It has to do with divinity. It has to do with the God within. Zichronot, we can easily understand that we have to go to the past in order to understand and contemplate the present, in order to resolve ourselves to a brighter future. We have to time travel a little bit in order to forge a brighter future for ourselves. So we can easily understand zichronot. But shofrot, you know, shofar is an object, is a ram's horn. What is that doing in the equation? So we have to understand, friends, that the shofar has always been in our zichronot, in our history, in our remembrances. The shofar has a long and eclectic kind of history that shapes the essence, the spiritual essence of what a shofar really represents. A shofar represents, in general terms, the beginning, the starting point and beginning of a new destiny or a new paradigm. That's the place that shofar has in its metaphoric history. Whenever shofar is employed, the sound of a shofar, you should know that something vital to a important paradigm shift is taking place. Whenever shift is taking place amongst the Jewish people on a national level, or even on a personal level, the shofar is sounded, so to speak. There is a blast, a sound put out there, excuse me, put out there into the atmosphere, announcing a new beginning. So the sound of the shofar on Rosh Hashanah is essential. The Torah, by telling us sound the shofar on Rosh Hashanah, is tantamount to saying, announce for yourselves a new beginning. Start a new paradigm shift for yourself. Create for yourself a new starting line. Make this new year a bereshit, in the beginning, a new beginning. Okay, friends, any quick responses or insights or questions about Malchuyot, Shofrot, Zichronot, and Shofrot? These are three very deep ideas that we have to try to absorb their spiritual essences.
Thank you. We have a Joyce Strickland has her hand ready to ask. Go ahead.
Rabbi, when you said Shofrot, I was thinking, wake up, pay attention. Something's happening, and your paradigm shift really puts it into focus for me. Thank you.
Okay. And yeah. I'm just going to put this out there. Friends, paradigm shifts and change is such a deep idea, because Chevra, let's face it, let's admit it, change is hard. Change is hard. On one level, no one really wants to change. No one really wants to change. It's hard to change. There has to be incentive to change. There has to be a reason to change and transform. Otherwise, the power of inertia, the power of staying the same, is very, very strong. So there has to be a ratzon. There has to be an incentive and a reason and a motive to change. And I think that the first step in terms of self-transformation is to defeat the weight of the inertia. Why should I change? I'm perfectly happy where I am. So Joyce, you reminded me that the sound of the shofar, Maimonides describes, is the awake call to get us to even stimulate our own will in order to incentivize us to say, maybe if I think long enough, I think I would improve my life if I did ... or if I transformed this ... and we'll leave that, up to the individual. But it's very difficult to come to that place of honest willingness for self-transformation.
Rabbi,
Yeah.
I'm confident that I had breakthrough COVID for several weeks, although I tested negative. So I consider that a pretty good incentive for me to count my blessings and take off from there.
Okay. What? Okay. Yeah. There are many incentives that are possible. Okay, Kim, anyone? Thank you, Joyce.
I think you can continue, Rebecca. Should I put up the screen share?
Yes. So friends, we'll do the first paragraph, and that's just a little explanation of where we're going to find Malchiyut and Zichronot and Shofrote. The Musaf service contains 3 sections: Malchiyut, Zichronot, and Shofrote. Each of these sections contain 10. These 3 essences that describe the journey of Rosh Hashanah are found, by the way, in the Musaf. It says in the Musa Amida, and if anyone is interested, it is. I think we might do one of them next week. But if you want, you can look in your machzor if you have a full machzor at home, and the verses that are quoted are going to give you a beautiful flavor and indication because from these verses you're gonna see where Malchiot comes in. 10 verses from the Bible, 3 from the 5 books of Moses, 3 from the Psalms, 3 from the prophets, and then a concluding verse from the 5 books of Moses. Each section begins with a prelude that sets forth the theme of the section, and each section ends with a blessing and then the sounding of the shofar after each one of these sections. Kim, is there any possibility to move the page a little to the left of the screen?
I don't know. I can make it smaller.
Maybe if you can, because I have a blockage here going on here with the, with the.
Okay.
Kim, I think it's side by side speaker. You can pin the screen share and Rabbi Akiva both next to each other.
I was just going to make it a little smaller because that was where I was going with it. If I, let's see, because now. Zoom to, is that actual size? No.
It would be spotlights for both.
I don't have everyone on here. I don't see.
No, I mean, just for the share and for Rabbi Akiva, that's all. And then they're next to each other on the screen.
Can somebody read it while I try to shrink it? Because I don't, Linda, this is after the class, you can give me the lesson, but we can't do that now.
Okay.
Okay.
I think nothing is rubbed out. Okay. Ooh.
Okay, is that
okay, friends? That's okay. I can see everything here. Okay, that's good, Kim. Friends, I specifically I'm doing a lot of like research and homework, and I found this piece from Franz Rosensweig that I really thought captured a lot of the spirit that I think we are trying to capture. Franz Rosensweig has written, "What distinguishes the days of awe from all other festivals of the year is that here, and only here, does the Jew kneel. Here he does what he refused to do before Haman, what no power on earth could compel him to do, and what he need not do before God on any other day of the year or in any other situation he may face during his lifetime. And he or she does not kneel to confess a fault or to pray forgiveness of sins. He kneels only in beholding the immediate nearness of God." I can still remember what a dramatic and awesome moment Aleinu was when I was a child. Not just the rabbi and not just the chazan, but all the people. It was the annual declaration of dependence. I love that. It was the annual declaration of dependence, the day on which we declared to God and to ourselves that we are only creatures, not the Creator. We thought we knew Aleinu. It was familiar to us, for it was the last prayer of every single service on every single day of the year. But on this day, it was different. This day, it was chanted to a special majestic melody. And as we said the words, we did what we said. We knelt and bowed before the king, who was the king over all the so-called kings, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He. So friends, I love that because I think Rosensweig here really gives us a picture and a flavor of, I think, in the spirit mamish of Reb Nachman of Breslov. In the spirit of Reb Nachman, I think Franz Rosensweig here is creating a most deep but yet most simplistic idea of what we have to wrap our minds and our hearts and our consciousnesses around, that Rosh Hashanah is a recognition that there is something in the life of the human being, because Rosh Hashanah is not the day of commemorating. It's not commemorating the day of the creation of the world. It is rather the day, and this is a vital thing to understand. Rosh Hashanah is the day that we commemorate as a birthday of the creation of the human being. Although we changed the year and we call it the birthday of the world symbolically, it is not the birthday of the world, it's the birthday of the human being. We are commemorating on Rosh Hashanah not the first day of creation, but rather the sixth day of creation. And being that the center of Rosh Hashanah is going to be the crown jewel of creation, which is the human being, and everything about Rosh Hashanah revolves around us. Rosensweig here is saying the first idea that has to be established and has to be dug deep into is the idea that the first declaration that we ought to be proclaiming on Rosh Hashanah is our declaration of dependence. And our declaration of dependence is that we, although we are the epicenter of creation, there is something over and above us that transcends our own selves, our own power. There is something, there is some other energy, there is some other power in this world of ours that transcends our own power, our own consciousness, and our own selves. There is a sense of willing, voluntary dependence on something bigger than ourselves that we proclaim on Rosh Hashanah. That is the essence of the Malchiyot. That is the essence of the Zichronot, that we conjure up the memory throughout history of something greater and bigger than ourselves. And that is the proclamation that we make through Shofrote, our declaration of dependence. There's a certain beautiful and powerful humility in that. I am yours. I am yours. I, as an individual human being, I can think I have some power, which we do. But if I, for one split second, if I think that I am in control, Rosh Hashanah urges us to proclaim our declaration of dependence. We are, whatever we think, we are really, really ultimately not in control. And there's a certain beautiful humility in admitting that, in saying that. Okay, friends, any comments on this? This I think is the seed. This is the seed from where we start developing and evolving our Rosh Hashanah consciousness. And we can summarize it in those three words: our declaration, not of independence. Yes, to a certain extent, we are granted independence, but on Rosh Hashanah, we are focusing on our declaration of dependence.
So Rabbi Akiva, Shabri has a comment, and then I have a comment.
Thank you, Kim. Good morning, Rabbi.
Good morning, Shabri.
I was thinking about the teaching you gave us several weeks ago, I and thou.
Mm-hmm.
I and thou declares that essence every single day, at every single moment. So what makes this different than the high holy days?
Because we forget. We forget, and there are certain occasions where proclamation and witnessing and shofaring and proclaiming it and putting it out there and focusing on the declaration of dependence is an important thing. Those times, you know, you can, Shabri, you can really say that for anything. If if I'm in a state of communion with God all week long, why do I need Shabbos?
Yeah, that's
if
true. That's true.
you know, so
I mean, it's
so
not
the
true.
Jewish tradition says
Yeah.
that there are certain times because our capacity of zeichering, our capacity of remembering and keeping very aware and cognizant of
Yes.
this attachment sometimes requires a focal point that
Yes.
we, you know. Thank
I
you.
agree. I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I was going to say, it reminded me of the power of your side note in yesterday's class. And I bring it up because, like, I think almost all of us were there. And if we weren't, we should listen to the video.
Right.
About Yirah. Part of the power of that reverence is to initiate a sense, a declaration of independence.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Mm. Yeah, we could actually, Kim, I can add what you just said to a comment to Shabri's question, that on Rosh Hashanah, on these special solemn occasions, using the word Yirah, we are able to see better the dependence. We are able to see divinity. We are able to feel divinity on a more powerful level than regular. Why? Because we have prepared 30 days in advance, and because the holiness, the sacredness of the day itself, you know, so we are able to see with sharper lenses. It's as if during the year we are without glasses, and on Rosh Hashanah, you know, we put glasses on. We say, whoa, I'm able to see, even if it be for a split second, you know.
Would you like the screen share back?
Yes. So friends, let's keep that, you know, let's do this like in our classes well before the Sulam. Actually, all of the high holidays is like a Sulam Ha'aliyah. It's really like a ladder, starting with Rosh Chodesh Elul, through Rosh Hashanah, through the 10 days of Tshuva, to Yom Kippur, through Sukkot. What we are really talking about here is we are talking about a Sulam Ha'aliyah. We're talking about a ladder of ascending through each holiday, putting on stronger glasses, stronger focal we gain clarity through each holiday. So we have to view all of the holidays from now till after Sukkot as a ladder of ascent, as a progressive thing. Okay, this is something also that I saw that I thought was essential, absolutely essential to our understanding of what we can expect to accomplish through this the high holy days, and this ladder of ascent that we are attempting to climb during these days. I thought this was so unbelievably powerful. The gods we worship. The gods we worship write their names on our faces. Be sure of that. And a man will worship something, have no doubt about that either. He may think that his tribute is paid in secret, in the dark recesses of her heart. But it will out. That which dominates his imagination and his thoughts will determine his life and his character. Therefore, it behooves us to be careful what we worship. For what we worship, we become. Friends, I thought that was, if one of the great essences of Rosh Hashanah is Malchuyot, that is, that somehow, whatever God you worship, whatever God you, in your absolutely unique way, through learning and through studying and through experience, whatever impression you have created for yourself of your God, your divinity, your infinite, the infinite source that you of all that you have created for yourself in your mind and in your heart. Just know that that divinity what you worship and how you conjured up this divine essence, you become that. You become that. That divinity is written all over your forehead, through your actions, through your emotions. We become the God that we worship. I thought that was essential, friends. Okay.
Can you comment on what if the God we're worshiping has what would be an idol aspect of worshiping that as a God in this context?
Hmm. In other words, how would idol worship manifest itself in the God that we worship? How would
Take it where you think I might be going.
okay? It's a beautiful question. On one level, because idol worship is called in our tradition avoda zara, which means zara means worshiping a strange or malformed entity. I would say, if I'm getting your question on track with what you meant, that if I worship a God that is, if my God is a strange God, that would mean that part of my dedication and my worship of that God is terribly, in some aspect, is terribly off balance, is terribly inconsistent, is horribly hypocritical, that I am worshiping a God, but I am including in that worship an aspect of strange behavior, of inconsistent, not total. I am adding an element of foreignness in my worship that I must look at and try to eliminate from the umbrella worship. It's something crooked in my worship. There's something toxic in the worship that I must eliminate. If I got you right.
So that if we're worshiping a stranger, toxic God, we ourselves will start becoming as distorted as the God we're worshiping.
Absolutely, it will be written on our foreheads. We will, and then we will start becoming that. And Chevra, let's be sure about this. We just have to take a look at history and see the history of the past, and possibly, not possibly, for sure today. We have to take a look at some of the traditions, the traditional religions today, the gods that are worshipped today, and see what is written on the foreheads of the adherents of those gods. And all you see in some is written on their forehead of their God is war, violence, jihad, overtaking world, domination. And that is written on their forehead.
Right. And it doesn't have to be so extreme. It can be worship of material.
It could be absolutely could be a self-drowning in capitalism and materialism, in surfaceism, only dealing with my religion or my spiritual path on a surface level. That's also written on our foreheads.
Joyce, you have a comment, and I'm going to go answer the door.
Thank you, Rabbi. I was going to say hate would be on people's foreheads, and sometimes I feel we can see that when we look at people. And as far as foreign gods, you mentioned materialism. I was going to say money came to mind, but it's not just war and jihad. It's people who hate people who don't think the way they think.
Yeah, Joyce, I was just using that as an extreme and very overt, example of how people's gods are written on their foreheads because of ideology, because of what they espouse, what they how they manifest in larger degree and some lesser degree, hate and not love, and materialism, all of that. Sometimes.
Okay.
But on a more sublime level, without talking about overt and exaggerated examples, if we personalize this, we ought to be wearing and refining our ideas about the forces that are greater than us. And we ought to be able to manifest that and make a commitment on Rosh Hashanah to be able to manifest that better throughout our lives, throughout the next year. We ought to be able to. Rosh Hashanah is a time to refine what is being reflected from our beings, from ourselves. Is the shining that is coming out of me, out of us, is the light coming out of us, the light that we want to radiate from us? Or is there a way of improving? Is there a way of refining the light that is radiating from us?
Thank you, Marcia Braff, and then back to screen share.
Hello. Hi, Rabbi.
Hi, Marcia.
So I believe I understand the meaning of written on our forehead and our face, the way you mean it. And at the same time, it makes me uncomfortable as I've been listening to people respond and my own response, that there's a counterbalance to that, which is we as humans often think, because of what we see on the surface of someone's face or on their clothing or on their, or what we hear in their speech, or that we know something about what they worship or who they are or how they're different from us. And so many times over the years in these classes, that idea of seeing divinity in everybody we look at, or at least looking for it, at least bearing in mind that it's there, is a necessary companion to the idea that we can read on somebody's face. Emanating our spirit, yes. And what you've said, you can feel that even in a Zoom room with somebody you've never met before. You have this power that you can sense the essence of somebody. Most of us come to all of our interactions with our own set of preconceived notions and biases and insecurities and histories. And it just, I began to feel in these conversations that the Sitra Achra of that is to resist the inclination to look at somebody and judge them without making that effort to see what's deeper within them.
Marcia, excellent point. I certainly am not promoting the idea that we walk around judging people. Certainly not on a surface level, and not without a use of a microscope, actually, before we come to any conclusions. So I'm certainly not promoting the idea of judging people at all.
Well, I know.
Okay, that's number one. That's number one. But depending on one's ability to read other people, and then depending on what we are actually obligated to read in people, what we are obligated not to ignore in people. If someone, for example, threatens me or my loved ones, right? And really says the words, correct? At that point, I am obligated not to use my microscope. I am not at all obligated to dig deeper. I have to take the person for what they overtly are transmitting to me. So if I came to a conclusion that something is written on someone's forehead, not casually, and not without thought and not without dissecting the situation if I have time to dissect. If I the chiddush here is that some way, somehow, what we feel deep down is ultimately going to come up. The God that I worship is going to exude itself from me somehow. We carry the aura of our God, and we, or put in a different way, we carry the aura of our deepest values, and somehow they exude, they just come out, and we are practically unable to stop that flow. So we should refine the idea of the transcendent within ourselves, because eventually it will be revealed, and you are going to be walking around with it, shining it from your forehead eventually.
There was one comment in the chat. So should we or should we not accept someone at face value? And I don't know if the pun was intended about face value. No, they're always no. At face value is that expression is one that implies that it implies a surface leveled type of judgment, and we are not talking about that. We are talking about something that is coming from a deeper place. In other words, I believe that this anonymous poem was saying eventually, of course, we shouldn't judge things rashly and just on a dime make a judgment about people. I think what the anonymous thinker was saying in this beautiful poem was that eventually our deepest value systems, our deepest ideologies, our deepest, if you want to put it this way, our deepest God is always eventually going to be coming out and revealing itself to others. Karen, and then Karen, Mike, and Molly. Rabbi Akiva, how much time do you need to wrap up? You have 20 minutes. Do you want to go to your wrap up and then take questions, or do you want to take the 3 questions?
Let's take questions now. We'll
okay, so answers and questions can be brief. Go ahead, Karen.
I just wanted to say, I feel like this is implied, but we're not really, nobody's really said it. But for me, that poem means I need to be looking inside myself to see what I am showing on my forehead, not so much looking at other people's foreheads.
Right,
you know?
Right. I agree. The whole poem was self introspection. So what radiance is coming out of me? Yeah, I agree.
Beautiful. Thank you. Mike Selzer.
Yes, good morning. Just to extend the point that was just made, pretty much is what I was going to refer to. Going back to the beginning of the class this morning, Rabbi, what comes to my mind was the depth of our personal connection to God, to that internal reverence of how it's represented within ourself, our cognitive thinking about it, the embodiment of it, and the highest connection that we have to it. And that we come closer to that during the high holidays, during Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and the preparation for it, and bringing ourselves to that highest internal connection, which is going to be different for each of us, the uniqueness that's there. And that's what I hear coming out in times of, call it interaction, relationships with people, stressful situations, loving situations, where that internal aspect, the representation, the appearance of God as manifest through us comes out, as you said, automatically. And to practice connecting to that internal reverence that's there, and to utilize the service of the high holidays as well as other times during the year to become closer to it, and the preparation so that we can actually internalize and embody more of the benefit of the service when high holidays comes around this year and every year.
Beautiful, Mike. Beautifully said. Beautifully like wrapped. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Molly, you're up next.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Rabbi.
Good morning, Mom.
The thing that came to me, it's always funny. Sooner or later, everyone shows their true color. Used to be a saying we had over the years. You can pretend so many things for so long, but eventually who you are, your character, your personality, your innards, everything will come out, regardless of how you're trying to hide them or express yourself differently because it's what you think that somebody wants to hear. So in other words, eventually it will all show itself through who and what you are, your character, your personality, how you deal with people, how you listen to people, and what you do. And it happens all the time, not just at the holidays, but it's enhanced at the holidays because there's an inner feeling within you. So that makes the difference. So I always say, sooner or later, somebody will show their true colors. They may try to hide, but no, the true colors will always come out. And that's how I perceive it.
Yes.
The true colors.
I'll take
Molly, that is, I mean, what you are expressing is in number one in that poem. It's eventually, if you think you're able to hide it from others, and even if you think you're able to hide it from yourself, no, it eventually is going to appear on your forehead. You know, you won't be able to, and that's what in the Rosh Hashanah liturgy. When many a time in the Rosh Hashanah liturgy, we have the idea of God knowing the secrets of man, right? God knowing what is going on in your deepest secret places, in your deepest kishkas, right? That God knows. So the liturgy happens to be tremendously anthropomorphic, you know, but what the import is that it's not that God knows. Who cares if God knows? God knowing means you know your own secrets. If you look hard enough. Okay, friends, let's stop here for a sec. Kim, is there one before?
No. There
Did it
was
not?
actually, there was actually a blank page that I thought you sent by accident.
Oh, so it wasn't a blank page.
Well, it was a blank page. It just wasn't intended as a blank.
Yeah,
page.
it wasn't intended. Yeah. So this is not gonna. It's not gonna do us. It's not gonna do the thing justice. If I start here, I didn't realize that the first page did not come out. But I'll Kim, we don't need this now. I'll do it by just through
Okay.
dialogue for the next 10 minutes. Friends, so we started off with Franz Rosensweig's beautiful description of Aleinu, that the Aleinu prayer is the highlight, one of the highlights of the liturgy. And maybe it's like a little bashert that the first page did not come out, because it's possibly a good idea for us to imagine it without the words. This week we will continue, but I want us maybe to affix this word in our minds. The first word of the Aleinu prayer. So let's go through the first phrase only. Everyone say together with me. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol. Let's do it again. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol. Let's just stop there. I love the word Aleinu. Aleinu means it is on us. It is on us. You know what the root word of Aleinu is? Is a combination between al with an ayin. Al means on. Ha'iparon al hashulchan. The pen is on the shulchan, on the table. Al in this context is al and nu. Nu is the short form of anachnu, we. So aleinu means it is on us, lishabeach, to praise and to acknowledge, la'adon hakol, to the master of everything, to source. It is on us to recognize and then to acknowledge and to praise the source of all. To me, that means it is on us to engage and exercise in transcendence. It is on us to acknowledge the energy and power of transcendence in our lives, and to be able to gauge things and phenomenon and all of our lives that we are living here in Malchut, and to be able to see the elevated elements, the transcendent elements of what's going down on our reality level, and to be able to see and touch and feel the transcendence of it all. It is aleinu, it is on us to bring everything that we experience in this reality back to La'adon Hakol, back to source. To see the higher aspects, the higher realms that exist within reality. And you know, friends, the interesting thing is that there is another word in Hebrew. You know, some of the translations in the various Sidurim translate Aleinu l'shabeach as it is our obligation. To acknowledge and to praise the source of all. And of course, the word obligation, because sometimes in Hebrew, the word aleinu does mean obligation, but the real true word of obligation is not aleinu. Aleinu is a much more sublime. The word for obligation in Hebrew is chayav. Chayav Adam le, a person is obligated to ... Chiyuv is an obligation. Aleinu it is on us. It is behooving for us. It's much more sublime. It's much more natural. An obligation implies some semblance of compulsion, you know, of being compelled. You're obligated to do this. It implies some sort of thing that you are doing that you don't really want to do. So we're not obligated to feel in every aspect of reality and to bring it back to La'adon Hakol, back to the master of the universe, back to the master plan, back to source, and to see the higher and more elevated things in the ordinary realm, and to elevate it and to sanctify it. That's not an obligation, but it is on us to do that. It behooves the human being and the human condition to live in that manner, to seek out the higher aspects of our reality and of our lives. It is on us. And we welcome that thing that is on us over the high holidays. We renew that welcoming in. And in front of that aleinu, that the responsibility that comes with that aleinu, we at the same time, in the words of Franz Rosensweig, we at the same time bend our knee in reverence to that responsibility, to that that way of viewing reality. It's much easier to view reality as it is, but to extract transcendence from ordinary things, we bend our knee to that transcendence, and we bow before that transcendence in humility. Okay, Kim, we're ready.
Okay, please don't leave. I'm going to end the recording.